So one of the things about a selector is, what if I didn't want to pick all the paragraphs, but I just wanted to specifically pick one paragraph? How would I go about doing that? Well, this one actually requires a change in the HTML file. We need to be able to identify the element that we want to access. So let's say that it is this paragraph that we want to change with style and not all the others. So go in and find this particular paragraph in your code, and what we're going to do is add an attribute in the opening tag, in the opening p tag, and it's called class. And this class allows us to identify a value that we can make up. So we just need a word here that we can refer to. I'm going to just use the word special. And notice that you get to make up the value. You do not get to make up class. That's an actual attribute that works. And it lets us really name things. So that made my line too long, so I'm just going to add an enter there. So now I have this paragraph with an attribute class equal to special. Well, the way that I access that in CSS is I use p dot and then the value of the class. So the dot refers to any class, right? So a P with class set to special would look like this. Now what happens is, instead of selecting all the paragraphs, it only selects that one paragraph. And it turns out that the class attribute, you can use that over and over again. So you can say, well, I want that paragraph to be special, but I also want this paragraph to be special. So I can add the same class down here and call them both special. And now as soon as I do that, then I get that property is applied to both because the selector selects them both. So go ahead and do that, and we'll have those two paragraphs that we can add a variety of style. So as you're identifying, how do we access the elements that we want? And that's what we do in the selector. And then we want to know how to do these declarations, right? And they're made up of those properties, value properties, values. So let's learn a few of the properties that are available. So we already know background color. Well, there is a way to change the text color too, and that is with the property color. So now I can say, well, I want the text in these paragraphs to be this really bold tan color. So let me add that and see what we get. Nothing in the paragraphs that aren't special, but there you go. And there you get, notice how the color property changes the color of the text. And so you see that showing up. Cool, huh? What else can we do? Let's set text align. So text align is another proper that we can do. So here we can go text hyphen align. And this one you can do left, right, center, or justify. So left is the default, and that's what you get there. So let's go ahead and see what happens when we do right. And there, notice how it justifies to the right. So both of them justified to the right. And let's go ahead and use that text align property on our heading up here. So let's say, well, we want that heading to be centered. So how do we access that heading? Let's go look at it. If we find it in our HTML file, it's right there. And it's our only H1 element, so we can access it directly with just using a selector H1, and that will select all of our H1 elements. And we can do text align on this one and use the center value, and what do we get? And there we get the text is aligned in the center of that heading 1. So there's 3 properties, and this is really how it works. is that you just simply go through, find out what properties are available, and then what values are allowed, and then you can add style, right?